Between 2018 and 2020, the most prolific and unique American serial killer of the 21st century went on a calculated multi-state spree that began in Denver, Colorado, continued through the Grand Lake, and expanded across Wyoming and central Idaho, before culminating in the dense forest of Hood River County, Oregon, drawing from police interviews, detailed accounts of eyewitnesses, depositions, and observations of various law enforcement. Strange Darling is a dramatization of the true story of the final known killings in that rampage. And what a story it is. Strange Darling is a film told in 6 chapters, starring Willa Fitzgerald as the Lady and Kyle Gallner as the Demon. 2 binary roles. The film opens with a woman fleeing a man. Good God. And her ears lopped off, and she's wearing red scrubs, and she's running slow-mo through a field. And there's this guy, Kyle Gallner, who has almost a buzz cut haircut and this huge silver rifle, and he's wearing this lumberjack red and black flannel, and he is out to get her. We cut to a car chase going really fast. We are flying down the road. He's right behind her. He can't get away. He's huffing stuff off the dashboard. It's a whole thing. Her Pinto flips over. It's all gas right from the start of Strange Darling. And I think what's most interesting about it is how small the story manages to be with so much energy. Director JT Mollner brings something truly special to this feature. These 2 stars, Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner, are a delight. It's fantastic. This cat and mouse game that is so full of twists and turns, I can't even tell you all of them. You got to go watch it yourself, almost similar to Companion. But I am excited to talk about it here on the pod. Andy, what did you think of Strange Darling?
So this is another one that I had heard a lot of buzz about in the summer, and people were like, "You got to see it, and don't watch anything. Like, don't watch a trailer, don't." And that's kind of how I saw it. So this is actually my second rewatch, so it's interesting having seen it again. The story is in 6 parts and an epilogue, and they're told out of order. I think we start with chapter 3. So the story slowly unwinds and reveals things. I just want to stick to the first kind of 2 parts because I don't want to give, like Companion, I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, it starts with this tour de force, all gas, no brakes, car chase through the woods, someone stalking their prey. And again, when we meet Willa Fitzgerald's character, the lady, she's injured, she's bleeding, she's missing half her ear, like it's she's being pursued by this terrible person, and then we that's kind of our opening in our first part. I don't want to say chapter. But then we flash back to when they first meet, which is a completely different setting. They're in a car, they're just talking, they've met on a it's kind of like a date, like they've met on a dating app or something, and they're just having a conversation, and they're throwing back a few beers in the parking lot, just having a good time, having conversations. This looks like they're outside of a hotel that they might get, and so it's in stark contrast to where we began. And it's one of those things you're like, well, how did we get there from here? And that's part of what pulls you in. But the movie just it looks beautiful. It's shot on glorious 35 millimeter film. It looks like it could have been taken place in the 80s, the 90s, or any time since then. It's got this just really bright, almost oversaturated anytime it's outside. But like when they're in the parking lot of this hotel or motel, they're just bathed in this blue light, which is really nice. So it does some really interesting things with colors. And it's also, it toys with expectations constantly. There are slowly more and more things revealed. And every time you thought you knew what was happening, maybe things change and it's a whole new story. So I really have enjoyed this, having seen it twice.
Yeah, Strange Darling, I think, is a movie about surprises and how you cannot truly expect what is to come, but you can only really be ready for it. There are so many odd reveals in this movie. From our very open, like our movie sets the stage. The very first thing you see is a title card that says shot entirely on 35 millimeter film in all capital letters. They are letting you know from the jump street, you are in good hands. Like this is going to be a whole feature. This is well thought out. We have shaped what you are about to see. You know what I mean? And then we open on a shot of Kyle Gallner in a car. Somebody's talking to him, this like blue light, and then hard cut to him strangling somebody. Hard red yellow light in some kind of interior, and then title card. Like, and then following that, we have a woman running through a field. Like, you're immediately getting blasted with images of like, what am I seeing? And your initial impression, as the title cards reveal, Willa Fitzgerald is the lady and Kyle Gallner is the demon. Right off the top, she is some kind of victim who's being pursued. He is the bad. He is the evil. Like, he is going to be the thing that is chasing her. And through our whole first act, first chapter, he is relentlessly that thing. Brutally so. Like, he is so merciless in chasing and hunting this lady. Like, she cannot get away, and she's horrified. Like, tears running down, makeup, hair's a mess. Yeah, she's already been hit once. Like, her Pinto rolls. Like, it's got so much energy, and it reminds you in its out of order presentation of something like old Tarantino, right? A Grindhouse feature.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like playing with expectations on like a razor thin budget. But it doesn't need to do anything big because it's got that creative drive behind it. It's got this force like in the script, like really fantastic. The structure is what makes this movie work, just like Chris Nolan's Memento, just like Pulp Fiction. If you edited this to be in the right order, it would not be nearly as fun. Like the whole playing with expectation is like what Strange Darlings like bread and butter is. It's where this movie cruises.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about our performances of our leads, particularly Willa Fitzgerald, who largely carries the movie. Like, she's 90% of it. And it's such a physical role, like, because she gets beat up, she gets shot, she's injured, she's running, and she's like slowly over the course of the film, like, just in worse and worse shape. It's just such a physical thing. I thought she was like a breakout. She's done tons of TV. Like, she was in the Scream TV series. She was on Gotham. She was on the Jack Reacher show. So she's kind of done a lot of that kind of stereotypical blonde roles. But this was a whole new thing, just like heavy duty acting from beginning to end. And same thing with Kyle Gallner, which he made a post about how to say his name. That's the only reason I know. Same thing. He is also under duress this whole time as this, as we see him in the beginning, this maniac just chasing. Same thing. He's going through a lot himself personally, which is later revealed. But also having to do a lot of physical acting, running, screaming, like he's hunting her down half the movie. And they also have a lot of long kind of intimate dialogue as well, which is later revealed. But really stunning physical acting for both characters.
I'm not real familiar with JT Mollner, who wrote and directed this. I wish I was. I need to go back and check out more of his work for sure. I think this is so far the big breakout, right? If it's getting to somebody like me who's never seen anything he's done, like, this is going to be obviously a feature that will carry him to bigger projects, which is good, bigger budgets, like, that's all good. But I am familiar with his cinematographer, Giovanni Ribisi, we need to talk about. Giovanni Ribisi, of course, is an actor. Typically, he's done photography on a couple of music videos, really, nothing too large. And it was a bit of a headline when this movie kind of came down the pike that people were like, oh, the guy that's in Avatar, the guy who's in Band of Brothers is shooting this thing, like he's DPing, but he's good, dude. Obviously some room to grow. Like I'm not going to say my man is like a breakout cinematographer or anything, but like there's a lot of cool stuff going on. When I was just talking about Companion a minute ago and I said there's not too much flash, bit of flash in Strange Darling. It's impressive. Like big lights, big camera lenses, like big camera moves, like a lot of clever stuff. A lot of nuts and bolts for sure. But hey, for first feature, like he takes a lot of liberties, tries a lot of cool things that I think is really clever, like, and works really well for presentation. Like those reds are bright red, dude. That blonde is platinum blonde. That gun is so silver chrome. It's crazy. Like really good color in this movie. Good looking movie.
Yeah, it really stands out. And again, red, I think, is a theme. Like when we first see the lady, she's wearing these red scrubs. She has this red wig that we see her in some scenes. Her Pinto is this bright red. So that's definitely part of what the movie's about. And it's a movie about expectations, like I said, and kind of the dangers of the biases we implicitly have about, assumptions that we make about certain people, certain genders, how dangerous or safe that they may or may not be. Real interesting stuff. And yeah, there's some great like slow-mo shots. It opens with Willa Fitzgerald kind of running through this field in slow motion with this great arrangement of Love Hurts. The score and songs I also really like. It's by this artist called Zeeberg out of LA that they does a lot of wrote songs for this movie, especially. You can find the soundtrack on Spotify. Really effective throughout, like perfect needle drops, but they're all original songs outside of Love Hurts.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, great looking movie. Like, love the pace of it. The structure works real good. Like this kind of chaptered structure. It tells you in the early title cards a story told in 6 chapters. Like they, again, just setting the stage for expectation and then following up with something that you don't expect. It's real clever. It's real sharp. And I like that the movie has conversations about it too. Like for all of its running and jumping and action and shooting and violence, like there's a couple of genuinely candid conversations about like, well, you know, how is a woman supposed to be perceived on a date night like this? You know what I mean? Like, is our demon character like acting in good faith, or is he as bad as we think? You know, when is this all going to go south? And like, why is the lady, like, why is she just subject to this? Is it by chance? Is this something she sought out? Like, it's complicated. And it's like shades of gray in a movie with so much color that I think really pops off the screen. Like for a 97-minute feature, low budget, like with a small cast, like really great work. I would love it if this team could go do another project with more money and get in front of a bigger audience. Cause like it's a really special feature. Strange Drawing is great. Any other thoughts or recommendations, Andy?
Yeah, well, it's a shame that this didn't get wider distribution because, man, I think with a bigger like advertising budget, it would have been something else. It's a small feature, and I can see why, you know, sometimes studios might kind of shy away from stuff like this. Universal famously passed on the substance. They didn't want to go near it, or they wanted Coralie Farjah to make a bunch of cuts to it, which she didn't want to do, and so they passed on it, and Mubi picked it up. And this is kind of in that same vein where maybe it was too much for mainstream studios, but yeah, I definitely wish it would have had a wider release.
Yeah, a lot of talent in this movie. Willa Fitzgerald needs more work. On IMDb, it says she's doing like 1 TV series right now. What are we doing? That better be the best TV series ever. Like whatever she's got going on, she needs to be doing something big. Same with Kyle Gallner, who's great. With that, Andy, would you recommend Strange Darling?
Absolutely, for horror heads especially. Content warning: it is incredibly violent at times. It is a horror movie at its core, but it really plays with your expectations. It starts with to shoot you out of a cannon, real intense chase scene to start with, and then it goes back and shows you how our characters met and got involved and how they ended up where they go. Like I said, really subverts a lot of things that you might expect. Every time you think you know where it's going or what's happening, you're kind of it upsets the apple cart. So highly recommend for horror fans.
Yeah, same. I think Strange Darling is a good time. If you like a good indie, something a little hard edge, looking for a rated R feature that you can have a little fun with, like rock solid. We found it on streaming for VOD. It was $6 on Amazon. Would recommend. Also worth mentioning, there's a post-credit sequence. If you do run it on Amazon, Amazon will kick you to 3 minutes of ads as soon as the credits starts. And if you're dope like me, you'll just go back to menu and you'll never see that post-credit sequence. And I hear it's not anything too flashy, but I'm a little bummed that people aren't getting credit on Amazon. So Strange Darling's good though. Like, and it's worth watching and it's worth paying credit. Like, it deserves its audience. I think it deserves more people, deserves more eyes. That's Strange Darling. What an episode, Andy. Good Lord. Moved through it fast this week as opposed to last week when we took a little bit longer.
Well, again, when we can't talk about the plots of both movies, it makes for a shorter show for sure.
Hey, that's true. And our Oscar noms last week were great. If you missed it, you can go back and check our episodes on YouTube. Before we get to that, though, before we get to the plugs, what are we watching next week, Andy?
So this week, February 7th, Love Hurts, which is the Ke Huy Quan, Ariana DeBose action love story thing. Ke Huy Quan plays like a retired assassin who's he's a real estate guy now, but his old outfit comes looking for him. Yeah, we need you back. We need you to be the old you. Also stars Marshawn Lynch, a former NFL player who's done quite a bit of TV or film now. This looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and we're going to look for something else on streaming as well. Maybe catch another one of these Oscar films. And some FYI releases: Heart Eyes, the slasher Valentine's movie, is also coming out this week. And I'm Still Here, the Brazilian film that Fernanda Torres is Oscar nominated for, and the film itself as well in Best Picture. That is getting a wider release if you're interested in that. But Love Hurts and streaming to be decided for next week.
Yes. If you want to hear more about Love Hurts and whatever we come up with on streaming, easiest way to do that is just follow the show. Subscribe specifically is what you're looking for if you don't already know. There's some way to do it. If you're on an audio platform, we love our audio listeners. Let's see, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartMedia. You can hit us over there. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe somewhere around the screen where you're watching this right now. It's probably by the like button, actually. And you can hit us over there. Big things going on YouTube. Come follow. We're doing cool things. Got shorts. It's a whole thing. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the usual social media places. And gosh, you can check out our website, offscriptfilmreview.com for more. And you can email us directly, correspondence, and mail at offscriptfilmreview.com. Leave a comment, leave a like. Let us know what you thought of the show. It helps us out a bunch. Moves us up in the almighty algorithm in the sky. That's what I've been told. And yeah, that's Off Script, episode 281. From all of us at Off Script, the home of Bold Cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.